Well, I'm Rob Hess. I call home Ventura. I mean, that's where I physically live. But home for me is, two places. Where my mom and dad live in Ohio, Cleveland. But I spend so many years in Washington, D.C., and I still consider that to be my home base, too. Yoga found me, back in 1989, actually in Ohio. I decided to join what was Bally's at the time. I don't even think it exists anymore, or they've been bought out by many people. But I joined Bally's and just did not like going to the gym, and decided to take a yoga class because I just had to do something. And I was hooked. First class, that was it, and then practiced ever since. I mean, the practice itself is very physical, and the asanas are just sort of one form of the practice. And I love the physical part of the practice. It's what draws, I think, most people to it. And that's really just the first step. And that's what drew me to it. It was something that was very physical, but the more I practiced, the more I found there was a deeper level. And the more I practiced, the deeper that level became. Definitely grew up in a very Midwest, very spiritual background. Parents went to church, family went to church. And so through the practice of yoga, I kind of was more, after you get beyond the physical part of the practice, which is beautiful, and I love the physical part. It is very, very beautiful to watch people practice. It's very beautiful to feel it in my own body. But once you move beyond that physical part of the practice, you're really drawn into something deeper, and it's connected. It's that energy of when you go to a church, or you go to see a choir, you go to see a big orchestra, you can feel that connection of energy. And for me, as I practice yoga and dive deeper into the practice of yoga, it started to open up into ways that I felt very connected, whether you call it God, light, universe, love, whatever that is you call, it just had a much greater connection to that thing that makes us happy, that thing that really brings joy into our life. And it is whatever you call it, whether it's Buddha, Allah, Jesus, God, it is that connection, and there's a deeper level. And the asanas, as I like to think of, I know most people call them poses, but they're body mudras. And being a mudra, and we all recognize different mudras, and whatever sort of religion you are in or whatever you follow, I mean, there's that drawing of the hands together, in Sanskrit is Anjali Mudra. But that drawing of the hands together, in any sense, brings you closer to the center, closer to your heart, to that place that really connects us, that place that unites us. It's a place that feel that love that is drawn from within, and that love is then able to share forth and given in all that we do and all the things that fill our life. And so yoga not only has that physical part, but it really connects us to that universal energy, the prana. Music it's another form of energy. I mean, all of us, probably no matter who you are, remember your first concert. I remember my first concert. My first concert was back in Ohio. My sisters took me to a Bryan Adams concert way back in the day, in the 80s. Yes, it was. And I remember that. Still to this day, I remember the energy of the crowd, or the energy of the people. And whether you like the artist or not, or whatever it was for you, there is a connection of people coming together. And music has that, just like yoga, it has that great quality. It's another vibrational energy. Not only is like the breath has a vibration, the beat of our heart, the flowing of the blood, the pulse of the earth, but music has sound, it has vibration. It wakes us up, it makes us happy, it can make you sad, it can bring all kinds of things together. And if you look back on the songs that are your favorite, they're probably the ones that make you the most happy, or make you feel love, or feel compassion. And so music, for me, is just the most dynamic part of a yoga practice. It takes beyond the asana, beyond the level of just poses, and lets you really start to feel, right? And there's sound qualities. if you start like clapping your hands, there's a vibration, there's a beat, there's a thing, and people feel that, rather than if you started to like hum, you're like, like it's just another way, and that's the way chanting does, and if you want to make your practice or your body feel so much more, there's that, get into the beat, the pulse, that rhythm. Or if you want to feel more grounded, you take that pulse down, and music has that way of really lifting us up and bringing us back down. It connects us to that endless flow. And people have been doing music forever, like all through time. So there's a connection to the past, to the present, and the future, because it's never going to go away. There is something very beautiful about practicing by yourself. You really tune in and get connected to where your body is and how your body feels. But there is, which I love, group dynamic classes, big energy. And like I said, you feel it when you walk into like big concert halls, or you feel it in big auditoriums. People coming together, there's an energetic movement, and we all come from different backgrounds, different ways, different walks of life, even how you got there. You may have rode your bike, you may have driven there, you may have walked there, whatever. They come together, and the energy is all out in this area, right? And as groups come together, and as you feel that, like even in a concert hall, in an auditorium, there's that coming together, and the energy starts to get funneled in closer and closer and closer and closer. And that's the beauty of coming together. When you do asana practice, when you sing in a choir, when you feel the orchestra, there's all of a sudden this sound or movement, and it's all out here, and then it comes together, and there's that vortex. You just feel the flow. It's in the yoga practice, it's the kundalini, it's rising, it's moving together as one. And so that's the beauty of really the group classes, the community classes, of you can feel all these people from different walks of life, different colors, have hair, different sizes, different shapes, but we come together and we start to move as one, we start to breathe as one, and soon there's no difference, nothing between us. It's just a flow of energy. And it's like the waves, like the wind. It just catches that current, and you're in the flow. And so that's why, group, community, dynamic classes that have that energy, because it's just, you feel the oneness that comes together. And that's really, I think, a lot of us, as we are in this day and age, even though we are very connected technologically, we're still somewhat disconnected, because there is that disconnect. And the yoga practice, or these places where we can come together, where we meet, we get together, it draws us together as one, and we begin to feel what our neighbor feels. We flow with them. And you're feeling something, they're feeling something. It's not exactly the same thing, but you're feeling it together. And that connects us more to each other, and in turn connects us into a higher level to that source, to the prana, to the life force, to something bigger and greater than just ourselves. I find there are less gay men who practice yoga than than you would actually think. Most people do not think that there is a lot of gay men who practice, although there are quite a few. And it's growing, and I love that the fact that the numbers are growing. As you see, as being a teacher, I will admit, walking into a class of 40, 50 people, 99% of them are women, but I've seen in the evolution of since I started teaching, more and more men coming into play, coming into the studio, getting off of just being like, that's for women, or that's for those are for bendy people, of really understanding that the physical practice, and for most of us, like I said, that's how I started. It became a very physical thing. The physical practice then has that evolution. It takes us deeper, if you want it to go deeper. Being a gay man or straight, I don't think that plays into anything. I am who I am, and it doesn't play into that. We are just beings in the flow. We are moving together. My major influences, and still my teacher to this day, is Shiva Rea. I truly love and honor the classes, the asana, the practice, the guidance, all that she has given to me. She has been such a guiding light in my life. I've also had just the great admiration and able to study with Dharma Mitra, Anna Forrest, Saul David Reyes, he's beautiful, Eric Schiffman. These are people that if you don't have, before they all go away, you should have the chance to practice with them. They're just beautiful. Annie Carpenter, so many great teachers, and they really, you can see their love, their compassion, their amazing understanding, not just of the asana, but of the practice of living and being yoga. And it's not just, we say that, be, live it. They really do. They have a deep understanding, a deep connection to that great flow of what we share as yoga. And it's beautiful to see and feel that when you're in their presence. Lately, my practice for me has been one of slowing down. It could be also age, as I am 45, and I've been practicing a long time. I find that the greatest thing for me right in these moments, in these days, has been slowing down. Really, and I know it seems sort of contradiction to the flow of life as we're always racing up, speeding faster, more energy, more going out. And that's why I feel, for me, my greatest learning right now is one of slowing down and really allowing to take a moment just to feel and to be, and to witness just that moment, and then to really connect to it, and then the next moment, and not just moving through the asanas and moving through the moments, but really feeling the moment now, here. And so kind of, I guess, maybe age, and it is the practice, but it has been for me one of slowing down, really taking the time to savor, because the practice is like nectar, it's like honey, it's it feels so juicy. And so many times and there's nothing wrong with a great, powerful, strong practice and going hard or going fast. I love that too. But right now for me, it is one of really slowing down, of really this feeling what's going on and sensing that around me and really connecting to it. What do I want to be when I grow up? I don't know. I think I found what I'm going to be and do. Yeah, I love doing yoga. There's nothing better than doing yoga. I mean, if you love what you do, and then haven't you found it? That's it. It makes me happy. It brings joy. It makes others happy. And there's nothing like, that feeling of after you teach. And sometimes, you have that moment where you're like, I don't know if that was a good class or not. And you walk out and then everyone comes up and they're giving you hugs and love. And they're like, that was the best thing ever. And you're like, okay. And that just shows that when you start in the flow and you connect to that energy, it doesn't really matter what you're saying or what you're doing, because if you're passionate and you're feeling the love and the joy, it comes across and people love that. And I think that more and more people want that. They want to feel joy in their life. They want to feel love. They want to feel compassion. They want to feel that coming together as a group, as a community, instead of just being alone. They want to feel that oneness. And really, I love being able to share that and take people on the journey into experiencing that. The thing, I think the most thing that I would share and say is have love, have compassion for the people who are coming to your class, to your practice. You never know what someone's going through in their day and their life. And if you're sitting there just barking orders or barking out asanas and things, it makes people feel like it's a workout. It's a workout. And never make people feel like they're working out. Make them feel joy. People may not remember a single thing of what you said or what asana they did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And if you can make them feel joyful, happy, feel loved, feel compassion, they're going to remember you forever. And that's one of the things I feel that is beautiful in my classes and when I teach, is that there's a sense of joy, there's a sense of freedom, there's a sense of just feeling of love. And people always walk away, and it may not be the most craziest asana, it may not be a crazy practice, we could always do that, but they will feel love, they'll feel the joy. And that's what I would tell teachers coming up is if it doesn't feel good to you, it's not going to feel good to them. So really let it come from your heart and make them feel love.